Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to episode 2 of the Troll the Edge podcast with the Liquid Fire Fishing Team. My name is John Molfetto. I'm joined by Captain Mark Henderson again this evening. Mark, you're in beautiful
What's
sunny Florida. How's everything going?
Hey, John, I'm good, buddy. How you doing? Hey, everybody out there. I know hopefully you're filtering in. We'll take a few minutes before we jump on with Captain Brant McMullan. But yeah, John, down here in West Palm Beach. And yeah, as you can see, you're right. It's sunny Florida. And I can promise you that the little general is sitting on there right now, mad as she can be at my face being as red as it is.
Forgot that sunblock this morning, huh?
No, I'm going to tell her that I put it on and I just sweated it off.
All right, I'll go with that. If she asks me, I'll vouch for you.
Yeah, man.
How's things at the boat show? What's new and exciting down there?
Man, it's nice. The Palm Beach Boat Show continues to develop in popularity. The manufacturers really do like the show after Miami, and there's a lot of things that's changing in Miami over the years, and in the way it's constructed and all that. So a lot of the manufacturers kind of come from Miami, and they really like this show. It's a little more laid back. It's a great venue, all in one location, and a really good place for the public to walk and see the boats, and they've got a great representation of them. And I had a really good opportunity over the last couple of days to visit with some of our partners. Obviously, I work with SiriusXM, and so we had some great partners that I was able to visit with. We'll maybe chat a little bit about that. But the show's great. The weather's good. Yesterday was the VIP day, so it's never as busy, but today had a little more traffic, and I think they're expecting more tomorrow and Saturday for sure.
Awesome. I saw you were over at the Onslow Bay booth, hanging out and doing a demo with SiriusXM.
Yeah,
It's always
absolutely.
good to see those guys.
It's fantastic to see Brad and Bree, and they're over there with the qualified captain, so they're in a great spot at the show. So if you're down in West Palm, make sure you stop by and see Onslow Bay. I mean, they're a great sponsor for last week's guest, for the Fort Pierce King Mackerel Invitational. Mike Minia was there. Had great dinner with him and Alex and Burgess and Alicia Minia and Chelsea, Alex's girlfriend. So it was great few days. And but had an opportunity to get on Brad's and Brianna's Onslow Bay 33 tournament edition. Beautiful boat, fast boat, well laid out, and did a little SiriusXM demo on there and chatted it up, and it was nice. I appreciate the opportunity to be there. And we saw the I got a chance to see the new Freeman today too.
Is it Brant's new boat, right?
Yeah, Brant. We'll talk to him about that. I'm going to tell him I got on his boat. But man, I tell you, just the evolution. We'll talk about that with Brant tonight. He's been around the industry for a long time. A lot of people that watch this and will watch this as it goes along in perpetuity. They know who Brant and the McMullan family is, and Ocean Isle Fishing Center and all that. So super honored to have him on, but had an opportunity also to run into some good friends of mine that I've known for many years, and many people that have been in King Mackerel world will know them. Is Kevin Hannon and Jen Nassett, and
Great people.
Kevin. Oh man, from over on the west coast of Florida. Jim's one of the owners of
Pro Marine USA.
Pro Marine USA, and Kevin used to fish Hannon's Cannon and fish the FLW stuff. So it was really cool to see those guys. And they had there was another gentleman with them today, Justin Ford, who runs Boat Liquid Buzz, and it was nice to see some people and catch up with them at the show. It's always good to see, get to see sponsors and all kinds of stuff. So it's a cool thing to be able to do that.
Yeah, those are all good guys. We competed against those guys back in Division 6 for a long time. Justin fished with his family they had one of the first 23 Onslow Bays, I think, outside of North Carolina.
Yeah, man,
they were a hard team to beat. So
it is tough, man. It's an unbelievably competitive sport, and I tell you, we're fortunate to have someone that is the ultimate competitor. I don't know anybody who has ever competed harder or more, taken the sport more seriously, or been more successful than the gentleman we've got on tonight, and that's Captain Brant McMullan with Ocean Isle Fishing Center. And I've known Brant a very long time, and He sure has whipped me many times in tournaments, that's for sure. But super intelligent, just an incredible fisherman, has an incredible family, and we're just honored to be able to have him join tonight. And we wanted to make sure we had people, give them opportunity to jump in with us before we just brought him right on. But really happy and thankful that Brant joined us on our second podcast, and we've got some other great guests that we're going to line up, and excited to chat with them as well. But I'm excited to have Brant on tonight.
Yeah, well, let's give Brant an introduction. I think it's time to bring him in, and
Yeah, man.
he may be the first person in YouTube history to agree to allow his daughter to be married by making her future husband stick his arm down a bluefin tuna's throat. So without further ado, Captain Brant McMullan. Brant, good evening, sir. How you doing tonight?
Hello, all. I am here.
Brant, how you doing, man? It's good to see you, and thank you for joining. I tell you, it's an honor. I mean, we've known each other for a long time and competed with each other a long time, but more than that, man, just the respect that we have for you and for what you and your family do. And I know it's not just you; it's a great support group behind you. But man, oh man, it's an honor for you to join us tonight. And we're going to chat up a lot of stuff about your family, but a lot of things about king mackerel fishing, just fishing in general. So we appreciate it.
Sure, Mark. Yeah, thank you very much for having me on. And as you candidly said that I may have beat you in one or two tournaments, we won't count the many, 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 many more that you have whipped us in. So, your humility only goes so far with me.
Well,
I see right through the facade, but anyway, no, thanks for having me on, and why not talk fishing when it's March? I have a rule that took many years to develop. Well, I have had this rule for a long time, but it took me to my older years. I turned 50 this year, and really only in the past few years have I firmly, solemnly stuck to I do not go fishing in March.
You don't?
March? No.
I thought I saw you down in Guatemala or something.
Well, I'm sorry.
Huh?
I'm North Carolina fishing. You
Okay.
have to go. You go somewhere else in March. I don't. Every time I've through all the years, I try to fish out of here. The weather gets just today's a great example. As a matter of fact, you get the perfect day. It's 70 degrees. The wind lays down. You're thinking, man, it's been a long winter. I should go fishing. All right, I'm going to go fishing. I bet they're biting. But, man, I mean, I'm not going to act like I know, fishing is fishing. But I'm telling you, the odds are they're not biting, not in March. And, I mean, we can go catch some sea bass. I'm going to say that's not off limits. I took my dad sea bass fishing a couple weeks ago. But beyond that, man, I've learned my lesson too many times. So we might as well just talk about it because we've still got a little longer before we can get more serious about at least fishing from here anyway. So
no doubt, but you got the itch, you want to.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We got the itch. We're doing a lot of planning. As a matter of fact, this evening my son and I were installing new winches for our bait pens.
Oh my.
Drilling and hammering and screwing onto the dock and doing all the crazy things we do now to try to beat the next guy.
Yeah, that's part of the evolution of this thing, man. That's something that we're definitely going to talk about. But hey, you mentioned a couple of things as we start talking. We can't be remiss and not talk about the family and how this all got started. But you talked about Rube, and it's a special gentleman, always been unbelievably gracious and kind, and but he's a fisherman now, and now you're talking about you got him out there catching black sea bass. Is that Rube's decision or yours?
Oh no, he is. I mean, he got my brother and I into fishing. He grew up. He was from Greensboro, but his family had a place at Carolina Beach, and they didn't have a boat. They spent all their days on the fishing pier. So he's got all sorts of news clippings and black and whites of his mom, honestly, more than his dad, with king mackerel standing there holding a king mackerel vertical at the end of the pier, and all sorts of newspaper clippings and such from back in those days. But anyway, yes, we used to we tournament fish for a long time. He was doing it back in the 80s some. His name of his fishing team was the Beanie Weenie Fishing Team.
Okay.
And
There's probably a story in that.
They invented the Beanie Weenie Fishing Team, obviously, because it's the snack you got to have on board the boat. But he had the rig. It was called the Beanie Weenie rig, and it consisted of 4 baits, and they all had names. There was Sketty and Noodly and Weenie and Beanie. And you put them all on the line and you pull them around. I'm telling his stories, and every time he tells these stories, I just have to shake my head. But that is one of his stories. But anyway, I'll progress. But we tournament fished, he and myself and my brother, a lot in the late 90s to 2015-ish or so, and he retired from tournament fishing.
Yeah.
But he always loved bottom fishing, and that is what he only loves now. So that is, he seems to be food driven. So if we can be catching something that he sees is going on his dinner plate, then he is absolutely just giddy, happy as can be. And
well, I like him even more now if we're talking about food, because this fat boy loves that.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about some of the older generations, but he literally, when he fishes, it's like he's afraid he's not gonna eat again. I mean, a grunt has just as much meaning as a grouper. I mean, when that fish, oh man, oh wait, I can eat that. I'd make a fillet out of that. Put that in the box. Throw it in the box. I mean, we might have a box full of groupers and snappers and who knows what else, highest of high end. But porgies, grunts, whatever. Oh man, yeah, I can make a good fillet out of that. Put that in the box. I'll cook that right up.
Anything to pull string,
Yeah. If he lives to be 150, he will be testament and proof that eating obscene amounts of fish actually will extend your life.
There you go.
And he is done well. He's 75 and still very healthy. So he might well be that test sample that they've been looking for.
Man, I tell you,
that's awesome.
I mean, from the first day I met Rube, he looks the same.
Yeah, you're right. It's not yeah.
It's amazing.
He grunts a little bit more when he winds up bottom fish, but he's always grunted catching him always. But yeah, man, it's fun, and I certainly, something that I pay close attention to are cliches, because generally cliches are around because there's something to them. One of the cliches that I hear time and time again is, I wish I had spent more time with my father. I wish I had taken my father fishing more, that sort of line. And so I definitely have paid attention to that. And so when he's in town and it's pretty, then definitely try to go fishing, get the pops on board and go bottom fishing.
Good for you, man. I mean, it's not a whole lot better than that. And I know that you're, with Caroline and Braden and they're going to look back on that and look at it as special too. My father, I mean, that it was, his whole life being part of his kids' lives, and so I'm very much got the same situation that you have. And I know John's got a great dad as well too. So Vito.
No, we're lucky. We're lucky for that.
Absolutely blessed.
Maybe I don't know John's kids, but I certainly know yours, Mark's. Maybe when we're old men, you and I, our kids will take us fishing.
Well, they tolerate me on the boat now, Brant. They're always the ones that had the talent. I just provided the vessel.
Yeah. Well, that's yeah. A lot of that's kind of what happened with my dad. I mean, he obviously introduced us to it, but he was just a weekend fun, but for whatever reason it clicked in with myself and my brother, and we just always wanted to take it to the next level and compete. And so he got pushed to he calls it got pushed to the beanbag is what he says, but he got pushed to the beanbag when I was about 16, and he's been fine with it until he finally was like, I think I've done this long enough, y'all go ahead. And so
That's awesome, man. That's some
at least I'm referring to competitive side, but
sure,
definitely not bottom fishing.
Right. No, we understand. Well, you mentioned your brother a couple times, and he's got unbelievable talent and got a great family himself, and what you guys have been able to create down at Ocean Isle Fishing Center. And I know that we're going to try to share a little bit of a story and John's got some things to share with. I think he went back in the archives and found the pickle story for you guys when you were in Biloxi, and I knew that was buried on there, so that was kind of a cool thing. And I mean, y'all got a lot of history on some things like that we'll get to, but man, it's talk to us a little bit about what's happening in your world. You said you turned 50. I'm 61, so I got you by a long ways. So but let's talk about a little bit what's going on with Caroline. You and Amy have created an incredible 2 children, and talk a little about what's happening here.
Yeah, we are blessed. We are absolutely blessed. Our kids, obviously, first off, they're healthy, which is, that's a lucky thing for sure. I don't take it for granted, but we lucked up, and our kids are great. I'm very, very proud of both of them, including my wife, who I'm very proud of as well. And my daughter graduates from Meredith College this year, 21, and gets married in September. And if you've maybe watched some of our YouTube shows that we've put on, I think one of the most recent one just came out. Her fiance was on there. His name's Abel, and he's a good kid. He works hard. I think to me that's probably really toward the very top of the list of character traits, and that is just hard work. Our saying is we work harder, not smarter. And I don't know if that's something to be proud of, but we definitely do work harder. And so I see that in him, and I appreciate that. But anyway, she's going to get married, and she'll be living here around Ocean Isle. And the past few years, she got away from fishing with us some. But then she's gotten back into it the last couple of years. With all due respect to whoever, I guess she likes making money, and so we've had good luck. And so she likes to get on the tournament team when she thinks there's a paycheck coming.
Oh, all right. Okay.
So I can't. I mean, selfish or whatever you want to call that, but she likes to compete and be on the tournament team, and she likes when we do good because she likes to make money. So it comes by that, honestly.
Well, understood. And she and Braden, man, they were little. It's hard to believe as they grow up and see she's grown up into a fine young lady, and Braden's growing like crazy. And I'm sure Braden wants her on his team, right? He's going to share his money that he's made with it, right?
Yeah, we've got a really good mix. And Braden, you just mentioned 16. I remember how into fishing I was. It was, I just thought about it all the time. And for whatever reason, it was equating fishing, having fishing success, I sold pogies when I think I was 12, Barrett was 7. We used to sell them off of my dad's dock at Ocean Isle, and then it just expanded and got into tournament fishing. It was always about fishing, but my son thinks more fishing than I think that I even thought back then. And it's just constant. He is absolutely eat up with it. He is into more, more obviously more versed than I was back then. I was still about to learn a lot of what I know now, and he has at his disposal me, and so we've already done a lot of things, and but the billfish thing he's really getting into. He worked part-time last year as a mate on a boat fishing some of the tournaments out of Moorhead, and then he's got a much more serious job this year, fishing a little higher profile boat, and they'll be traveling up to Ocean City and even New Jersey, I think, and so he's going to figure out that world and see if that's something that he wants to chase. But he's a machine on the boat. We're a very good team together. We're very good. He's really come along. So I'm super proud of him
Well,
for that.
All the success that you guys have had, man, he's, out there on his own when he was 13, 14, 15, and he's crushing it.
Yeah. Well, we fit. So yeah, he won that tournament when he was 12, the fall brawl. He won. That got a lot of notoriety. And duly so. It was the most incredible fishing story. That's just one of the. I don't know. I mean, it almost makes me choke up just thinking about how that all went down. But kid says, Dad, I want to fish a tournament. I think I can do it. And he's got a little 18-foot boat, and so we had some bait, and he entered him in the tournament, and the kid who was gonna go with him fell through at the last minute, and I didn't want him to go alone. So the guy who ended up going with him was the tech support guy with Yamaha. His name's Scott, who has been a friend of ours. We've known him for years. And so Scott went along as the boat driver. And so I was nervous, and nervous, not that they weren't that they were going to get hurt. I just wanted him to have success. That was I wasn't concerned, like, are they going to be safe? That wasn't really the concern. I was just nervous that his hopes and dreams would be dashed. He's going out there, 12-year-old kid, been doing it with Dad. And, I just want him to do good. That's all. I just want him to do good. And so we get up to go fishing, and I actually got in my boat, and I rode out. The fish were outside at Shallotte Inlet, about a mile off there at the ledge. There have been some good fish being caught. So I actually got up at like 7. I went out in my boat. Without him, he was still getting his stuff ready, but I wanted to just check things out and be sure the ocean looked all right. And I wanted to see who was out there just so I could make contact and tell him to look out for him. So I ran out and did a lap and just kind of surveyed the scene, and then got back, and he was all loaded up, ready to go. And so he goes off, and it was just the damnedest thing. First he calls me. He's like, yeah, I think I might have checked on him, whatever. He's like, yeah, Dad, I think we caught one about 20 pounds. And man, I was tickled. I was like, all right, they caught a fish. This is great. I mean, he's got him a fish, and so he's participating. And then he gets quiet. And one thing Braden's gotten really good about is networking. Mark, you'd appreciate this because I know you're a good networker. But man, the kid, I don't know who he doesn't talk to, but apparently he's a 12-year-old kid. He was out there just working it on his phone the whole time. And I gave him on our little GPS. I showed him a half a dozen different little spots, and he does have happy feet. I will say we're not really good at sitting in one spot, and apparently that transferred to him as well. So he fished anyway. He popped around, and I don't know. It was a slow day. I called him a couple times, and he wouldn't do anything. But anyway, he calls me up. I don't know what time it was. Maybe like 1. He's like, Dad. He was out of breath. He's like, Dad, I have caught the biggest king mackerel that you've ever seen. You're not going to believe. And I was like, yeah, okay, all right. And I said, well, you guys keep fishing, and maybe, hey, man, that's great. Now you got something good to weigh. He's like, no, Dad, we're coming in now. And I was like, okay, well, I was relieved. I was excited. Great, he's got a good fish. But But then, when I hung up, I told his mother, and then I know what I told her was I just, I hope the fish is a decent fish. I don't want him to be disappointed. I know he's excited, and he's probably, exaggerating. And he pulled up to the dock, first weigh in, I think, in his little 18-foot Pencraft with a 90 Yamaha on the back of it. And he freaking pulled that fish out. And it was amazing. It was just the most amazing feeling as a father, and something that I will never forget. And the grin on his face, he's 12 years old. He had not had his growth spurt, so he's about, 4 foot tall, if that. And he grabbed that fish, barrel hugged it up to his body like that. And I mean, it's, but anyway, 52 pounds. He won. It was the year that the weather was so good. We had well over 300 boats. The tournament was huge. And it was a great story. And it was really cool. All the fishermen, even the very serious fishermen, really rallied around him. And I think that's honestly that moment maybe what really hooked him into the tournament fishing, which was that, the respect and adoration that he received from that moment. I think it really took hold of him, and he apparently really liked that feeling. So it was great. It was killer.
That's awesome.
It was monumental. Great fishing story. But
Mark, you're coming in a little muffled. So, Brant, you mentioned that you guys started in Carolina Beach. How did you guys migrate south to Ocean Isle?
Yeah, my father did. But anyway, he ended up living in Atlanta and working in Atlanta, or just north of Atlanta, which is where we grew up, where I went to high school. But he, once he had a little bit of success, he wanted to have a place at the beach to come to, and Ocean Isle was the closest beach to Atlanta. But that was in North Carolina. It had to be in North Carolina because for whatever reason, where his roots were. And Ocean Isle was the closest one to Atlanta. And so he bought a small house, and that was the first home that I knew on Ocean Isle, a little canal home. And that's where we grew up, hammering the flounders off the back dock and then into John boats, and then progressing further along from there.
Does my sound any better, guys?
I can hear you good now. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, it's what you and Amy have done with your kids, Brant, is special, and I know you're a proud father, and something like that, man. Regardless of what we've accomplished as parents in our lives, it's something special about it when your child does something that's, and it doesn't have to be monumental. I mean, it's like, John, you've got 2 girls yourself. Anytime that they have any sort of success, I think it's just a matter of just wanting it so bad for them, not for ourselves, but, and
that's how I see it. I agree.
It's just truly, truly special. And, and I know we could talk, family all night long, which would be fine with me, but we do want to, people on here do want to hear about fishing, and, obviously, and, with the successes that you guys have had and over the years. I mean, you won the national championship with SKA 3 times in Biloxi, if I'm not mistaken. You caught the state record king mackerel in Mississippi, if I'm not mistaken. You and Barrett, and I think was Rube on the boat with you too.
It was just the 3 of us. Yeah, that was our core. That was our core team. My wife would join us a fair amount of time, but she's not in that photo because that was in 2009, which is the year that Braden was born. So She did not fish with us. I remember she was at the weigh-in with Braden in a stroller, who was born August 8-9 of 2009. So he would have been 6 months, give or take, I guess. Or wait, August, September, October. No, heck, he was only like 3 months, 3 months old.
Yeah, and he's mad at you for not taking him.
Yeah. But yeah, he was only a few months old, and she had him in the stroller when we got back to the weigh-in. But that's probably the reason why she's not in that photo.
Yeah, I remember that. That was the first year I met you guys in Biloxi. I remember her pushing him around in the stroller at the Isle of Capri, and then
Yep.
a couple years later, you guys broke our hearts. We wound up finishing fourth. You guys wound up winning your, I think, your second national championship, 2011.
Yeah, it was odd years, 9, 11, and 13. Those were the years that we were lucky. And that was the time when the tournaments were big and meaningful, and it was incredible. And the fishing was, through that stretch, the best that it really ever was, in my opinion, from what I saw through the SKA, the glory days of the SKA back then. And we were right there, lucky enough to be in that bite, and somehow or another to catch the winning fish. That's whatever. That's just very, very fortunate and lucky, but very, really cool. Good memories. I remember all three of them. I do.
Well, it's pretty amazing what y'all been with that. Then fast forward to what we've got now. So
Lost you again, Mark.
Yep. Yeah, you're
Your
fading
audio.
out, Mark.
Uh-oh.
What?
There you go.
Go ahead.
Is that better?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, not sure what's going down there, but anyway, let's fast forward a little bit into, those days, into what we've got now. You've started the Kingfish Cup. You've always, ever since I've started fishing, you guys have you and Amy and your family and Ocean Isle Fishing Center has run, some incredible tournaments, Jolly Mon, the Fall Brawl. There's just been a lot of things that you guys have been involved in. And now, probably 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago now, you started the Kingfish Cup with a couple of other events. And how did that kind of transpire? Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think it started in 17. I believe you won the first championship, didn't you, Mark? What year was that?
That was 2017.
It was 17, right?
Yeah, that's the year you won the Team of the Year, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
There you go. So
yes, we did. We did, which is that's a good one. But yeah, there's two reasons why we decided to start the Kingfish Cup. The first, really, just back to the glory days of the SKA, the 90s and early 2000s to 2010 to 12ish, somewhere in there, is fishing divisions. You fish, the divisions were very competitive, and it was all about qualifying for the top 15 to get your invitation to make the championship. And that was a really big deal. I mean, that was something that you fished very hard. You were very aware of who you were competing against, in the overall scheme of things. And it added a lot of meaning, at least to me, to be fishing for something bigger than just the tournament. If you fish tournaments enough, you know that winning is very difficult, very unlikely, a lot of luck. But and even worse than that, I guess, is that, you go out and you catch a 30-pounder. That's a great fish. You get a 30-pound king mackerel is a very nice king mackerel. That is not easy to come by, but you might not even finish in the top 10 or 20. And you may get a little teeny paycheck or nothing at all. But I guess we just, even we catch a 30-pounder, we were like, oh man, we suck. We didn't catch what we needed to. We lose. But by having the points behind it, it adds so much more meaning to quality fish like that they get their due, instead of, feeling like that fish wasn't as great as it was. So the qualifying was a big part. And then, to be honest, the real stimulant, no disrespect at all, but it was driven by Mercury Marine. Yamaha's been a huge sponsor of the Jollymon and the Fall Brawl. And I don't know why they picked on me in my tournaments. I don't know if I was more visible or more vocal, or the tournaments certainly were larger, but they were, the Yamaha Jollymon King Classic. And anyway, Mercury went to the SKA back around about 2016 and said, if you're not allowed to go, you can't sanction the Jollymon because it's a Yamaha tournament and we're Mercury and we don't want you going there. and they started another tournament on my same dates, right here within 10 miles of us, and that was the stimulant. So I wanted the point system back, and Mercury tried to squash us, and so we pushed back. And no disrespect again to Mercury or certainly anybody that uses them, but that was the stimulant.
There's always a story behind, what.
Can't hear you, Mark.
Yeah, you're fading out again, Mark. Yeah.
This hotel room thing sucks.
Can you hear me? We got you a little bit better. Yep.
You heard this word sucks. That's the first thing you probably heard.
Yeah,
I heard that.
But man, things, they transition, things evolve. There are always reasons for things that happen, and you developed something there with that. To this day, almost 10 years later, it still has a very high impact. And, we were fortunate enough, as you mentioned, to fish it and enjoy, qualifying.
Enjoy
and
a
chasing.
big old paycheck, a huge fat paycheck.
Back in 2017, that was the big one. It was over $96,000. And,
which back then, that was before the age of 100 grand payouts. I mean, wasn't that like the biggest at the time?
Yeah,
yes,
it was a big one.
That was.
And we had the year before we had won the. I think it was the year before we had won the Swansboro tournament and the 5-0 when they came out just like a year or so after that, and that was like a $76,000. So it was on back and back with that, and that was pretty special. And of course, things have developed, and last or year before last, I mean, you guys at the end of the year, along with Flat Top, and you just get hot sometimes, and y'all tore it up, but at the end, you and Tony, I mean, my goodness,
we won an obscene amount year before last. It was insane. Again, something you'll never forget, and all with my family, my kids, and my wife, and it was insane. It was awesome.
It was really pretty special year. I mean, we had a special year ourselves, and with the new Andros that we had, and it was just 2024 was pretty special all the way around for you guys. And then Tony got his new boat, and it was just a lot of cool things going on. And down in the Long Bay area, I mean, y'all got some great fishing. It's so spread out. So talk a little bit about that, Brant. I mean, it's it's different. It's a different fishery.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got different fisheries in North Carolina,
Yeah, we do. Honestly, we're not in a great place right here locally as far as our fishing goes. At this point in time, I do believe in cycles, and I think that's what we are in. I hope that's what we are in, because cycles change, and for every valley there's a peak. But we're in at least definitely a summer cycle lull, and our fishing has gotten very tough here. June, July, where that used to be really some of our best fishing. And so that's become a difficult thing. For whatever reason, we've lost our deep water fish, which is where I made a lot of my hay for a long time in 100 feet of water or thereabouts. And those fish aren't coming here anymore. So we're in a tough spot. Georgetown has become the place to go the last few years, which it's not. And they have some good fishing, but it's unstable, very weather driven. And it's, 40, 50, 60 miles away, and that's not really that fun either. So that's where we are with that. It's you have to work hard in the summertime right now to have success. But our fall fishing has been great. And so we're on a very positive cycle there. All that fishing is really developed on the east side of the shoal, up and down the Frying Pan Shoal. The fairway ledges, the Cucumber, on out to the new infamous Northeast Rock, which has been a spot. If you're watching and you fished Northeast Rock and you're like, well, how come we didn't fish here, or why did we just start fishing here? I don't know why the fish really have just started going there, but I have been fishing there for years. Always swung through there and checked it and looked, but I mean, never really caught a few 25, 30 pounders. But something happened in the last, whatever it is, 3 to 5 years, however long it's been. And the fish have decided that was a much more favorable place to be. But it's always been a spot. It's just become the spot lately. But that will change too, because people are onto it. Pressure moves fish, kills fish, whatever it does. So I expect that'll be winding down, and who knows where or when the next one's going to be.
Yeah, it's kind of like this place up out of Ocracoke, right? Just a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Got
Unbelievable.
a lot of history there. I've been fortunate to be a part of a couple, 2 or 3 different places. That one probably more than any. And they're very, very onset, very beginning. And yes, that's a classic example of pressure getting to fishermen. I mean, I don't blame anybody. I have killed many a fish, and many times more than I probably should have, more than my fair share. And gosh, it's just, when the fishing's so good, it's hard not to. But the long term, they don't do very well.
They don't grow real fast, man. It's tough to replenish that,
They don't grow fast in your box. That's for damn sure.
No, that's for sure. You're right about that. Hey, real quick, before we get too far away from down off of your beach, out of Ocean Isle, it seems like you guys for a couple of weeks always seem to have a run of big fish in that late April, early May
April.
timeframe?
Yeah, it's my dad always. It was is that what is April? Is it Mother's Day, Father's Day? Which one's right then? When's Mother's Day? Isn't that May? Is that May 15th?
In May, first Sunday in May.
Yeah. So it was. He always said it was a Mother's Day thing, but if I'm not mistaken, one of the world records was caught off the Long Beach Pier around April 15th. So it's that mid-April to early May. Time frame. And last year, one of the guys, McAteer, I believe, caught a 64 off. I want to say it was off Lockwood, somewhere right there along the beach. And fishing was pretty good, but it is typically short lived, and I can't think of at least within recent times when a tournament has fallen right. The tournaments are always a little bit later. It's one of those things. It's only the fish are following the Spanish and migrating north and seemingly migrating quickly. And so it's a short window, and plus the weather has to be really stable. It's got to be calm for them to really bite. If it blows southwest, they won't bite. If it blows hard north, they won't bite. It's got to, it's a finicky thing, but it can be good. And there have been some big fish back in the days of the Frantic Atlantic. If you guys remember that, King Mary.
Oh yeah.
It was about May 10th. It was about May 10th ish is when that tournament was, and that tournament was won more than once around Yopon. I remember fishing it up there. I know it was won at the Ship Channel. So there was a time when that used to be the right time, but I feel like it's earlier than that now. But anyway, that's those fish seem to move right on up to you can follow them kind of on the pier reports right on up the east side of the shoals on up to Moorhead. They'll be in the Ship Channel, and even to the past glory days when we first started fishing inside the inlet of Ocracoke, which predated the pot liquor, which was Joe Winslow won. That was June 10th when the Greater Wilmington tournament was going on, and he caught the biggest fish on day one, and then just to show off, he went and caught the biggest fish on day two, and that got him some attention that he probably wouldn't have wanted as far as exposing himself to what the heck are you doing, where are you fishing type things. People start looking and thinking where you are, but anyway, that we spent many a days inside that inlet, after that. Um, Trying to figure that world out.
So-
But anyway, some history.
As we talk about some of that history and as it's progressed and how, how have you seen king mackerel tournament fishing change, Brant? As far as technology, I mean, obviously we're talking about bigger boats. I saw your next boat today. I was on it actually, that 56 Freeman.
Yeah.
They said that's Scott Connor said that's
Mark, you're coming in muffled again. You might want to shake your mic. You there? Yeah. I heard you talk about you're at the show and you said you were on my new 56 Freeman. Did you take your shoes off before you got on?
I did.
Okay.
They made me. Yeah. Scott told me, he said, hey, this is Brant's boat. So he's not going to want you walking on here with those liquid fire.
Yeah, you gotta take your shoes off before you get on board, Mark. I don't want you messing up my non-skid.
Yeah, man, that thing is unbelievable. But
God.
I was on there doing some stuff with Sirius XM today. But in all sincerity, what as we move through, talk a little bit about not just the technology. We can talk about that, boats, fast, that kind of thing, but also, hey, how about bait?
Yeah,
the
evolution to me is just human nature, which is you see it in any, you can call this fishing a sport or whatever, but you can relate it to sports, the competitive aspect. And that is just like you see in competitive sports, any sport, you also see it in this fishing, and that is competitors will compete. And real competitors, the ones who have the real fire, want to win, and they will be driven to do, obviously within the rules. Well, they're supposed to be within the rules, but anyway, certainly within the rules, to push, to innovate. As you heard me say earlier, I'm probably not the best on the innovation side because I don't work smarter, but we do work harder. And
Right.
so, just working hard, being very, very just laser beam focused. That's what my friend Brandon says that I get. I'm laser beam focused. And it was just not to digress or change topic, but that focus, I would say, cost me some of my social. I don't know. I have a hard time stopping and chatting and being a nice person and a good person and having conversation because of the just extreme focus toward accomplishment of the objective. And so I knew where I was going, and it was just full speed in that direction. And so, roundabout, competition has led to, guys wanting to get to the spot quicker. So obviously that, is the equipment. But then it's also in, certainly honing their skills, figuring out that, the tackle aspects. Kite fishing is a great part of that. You certainly see that evolution in South Florida where the technique is most effective. But Mark, you and I mean, we've both had success fishing down in Southeast Florida, but that was pre-kite fishing, really. I mean, before it really got to be, at least you can correct me if I'm wrong, before it really was a thing, we didn't kite fish. We just trolled like we did up here, and honestly, we did quite well and won some stuff. But the sailfish guys caught on to it, and those true professional fishermen got into it, and they're competitors, and they evolved the kingfish game down there to where they're pretty impossible to beat. Pretty difficult.
It's very, very tough. I mean, you get, folks down there and, start calling out names and that kind of thing. But there are a lot of great fishermen down there that have really perfected that, Alex Burgess and Art Sapp and Carl Torrenson and Billy,
Billy Warmer.
Billy Warmer, yeah.
Yeah.
We talked
those guys come from sailfish roots, I think. That's where all that comes from. And so, I mean, they want to compete.
And they're good at it. They are very, I mean, they compete like, I would say that, honestly, Brant, you're one of the most fierce competitors in the the quote sport of fishing that we've ever seen. So you related that because it was very important. It is important, and you took it very seriously, and because of that, there's a lot of success there, and and there's a lot of things that drove because of that success. I mean, obviously from the business side of it, an Ocean Isle Fishing Center and what you developed there, I mean, it's a destination down there, and what the Ocean Isle Fishing Center means to the area is is incredibly important. And I mean, you want to share a little bit about how that?
Yeah, we're proud. We're proud, very proud of that, and I'm proud. Again, I'll refer back to my father. I'm my brother and I have been blessed that our father was a good businessman and had success, and he wanted to see his children have success, and something that he has said to me, and I certainly say to my kids is, there's no free rides. We don't give stuff away, but we do give opportunity. And and my father had the vision of a fishing business. He had it scratched out on a napkin that he carried around for 10 plus years, from visiting South Florida and the Outer Banks and this and that, and that's where he always said he liked the shake shingle look of the Outer Banks and the Northeast, but he liked the fishing center feel of some of the places down in South Florida. And but anyway, I started my charter business when I was 18, and had some good success and was getting some recognition. Fishing had the first web page that I'm aware of that was a fishing blog back in those days, and that garnered a lot of attention, which was kind of cool. I was like YouTube before YouTube was cool. Oh, yeah. But anyway, back in 2003, he built the place, and my brother and I have been involved. My brother and his wife handle the restaurant side of things, and my wife and I handle the retail, the water side of things. And so we've had a great base of operations, and very proud of the achievements of the Fish Center, the recognition, the notoriety, and having, that it's hopefully a location that has brought a lot of positive to the area here. And then also, it's helped to sustain fishing in this area, at least as a home base, for a lot of fishermen.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that, and then your children coming up in it and understanding, how to work hard and be impactful in an industry that, is unique. And, and you're right. It's developed a lot of really, really good fishermen and fishing teams out of there. I mean, there's so many. Is that Amy?
She's like, what the heck are you doing? I'm on a podcast. I'm podcasting. Yeah, look, you're the guest. Folks, let me introduce you to the matriarch of the family, and many do not know that she is a U.S. Coast Guard licensed captain, as well as an IGFA world record holder. That is Captain Amy.
There you go. She has been a cornerstone, just like the rest of your family members, man. It's I remember back in the day. This was like 2005 or 6 or something. One of the first times we ever fished the Jolly Mine, and I was a reporter and a photographer early in my career, and I fished that event. And the reason I say that is because after that, I wrote I wrote some articles or some columns back in the day for the Fisherman's Post, and I wrote one after fishing that event called Fishing the Jolly Mine or something like that. It was like 360 boats in this thing, and one of the things that really impressed me is when we came down, weighed in the fish. I think we weighed in a decent fish. I don't even remember, but it was Amy and your children greeting all the boats that came in that weighed fish, and they had hot dogs that were wrapped in foil, and they were smiling and said, "Thank you for fishing." And I mean, it was just in all sincerity, man, you think about that 20 years ago or something, and it's like, those are the things that you kind of remember, man. And it's not we're sitting here, we're talking about a lot of things. We talk very little about really how much you win or anything like that. It's really about the memories, the family, the friends, and when you think about it, you and I've known each other for 20 years. And I remember the first time I ever had contact with one of your family members was Barrett. He called me after we did well in the old Atlantic Beach tournament, and he was writing an article for the SKA Angler magazine. And I remember him talking to me, and he was just a kid, and he wasn't a kid. He was probably 23 or 4 years old or something at that time. But he wrote a great article. Anyway, that was my first introduction. And then after that event, man, it was just fun to see what you guys have done and how you developed and how you've evolved, how went from that to that. Tournament's obviously still very, very impactful.
Yeah, if you come fish the Jolly Mine, you can still get a hot dog, Mark.
Yes, sir.
It'll still be wrapped in foil, except we have upgraded. We actually have a hot dog suit, and someone wears the hot dog suit while giving away hot dogs on the dock. So,
John, are you in for that?
Yeah, man. Whatever I need to do. Let's go.
Anybody can wear the hot dog suit, but yes, hot dogs are still a tradition. That came from a lot of what we do is just based on our personal experience with the tournaments, and the fishing center for that matter, is based on our experiences out fishing, and certainly as a younger person, I was terrible at packing food when you went fishing. A bunch of guys, a lot of times we're so focused on fishing, we just like, we'll deal with it later. You come back to the dock and you are just famished, just so hungry. And so that was the thought. I mean, you've been out there on the water all day. What do all these fishermen want? They want food. They want it now. Let's give them some hot dogs and, try to curb that hunger.
It's pretty cool.
Great.
Man. It to this day, it's pretty special, and what all those things mean to the sport, Brant. And we could talk all night long, and I don't want to bother you. You've been gracious with your time, and we're getting up on 9 o'clock time frame, and
Wow.
but it's it's been
time flies.
It does, man. And
What?
I knew it would be a fun event. Go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I got one. So, there's a story going around, and Mark mentioned earlier Colby, and he came on board with my daughter and I catching some sea bass the other day, and she decided it'd be a good idea to put a chunk of watermelon on and give that a try, but she certainly wasn't the first.
Yeah.
Talk to me about this.
Yeah. You're referring to the legendary, the Biloxi pickle.
The Biloxi pickle.
Yeah. Which taken out of context could make someone blush, but it is actually fishing. This is a fishing story. Okay.
That's right.
Before anybody
What year was that?
I can tell you exactly, and I can tell you why exactly.
Okay.
It was in 2008. It was because that was the year that the Salt Dome was discovered out of Biloxi. So we're fishing the SK National Championship. We're in Biloxi. And let me see. So I can remember exactly. There was this boat. God, I mean, this could get deep, but anyway, long story short, I'll just give you the abridged version. The Salt Dome had not been discovered. There was only one boat that knew about the Salt Dome, and they won the tournament in 2007, the year before. And but we didn't know they won it there, but they won it there. It was an old commercial spot, and it was not on the rigs. It was off a couple miles, and you'd never know it unless you happen to know something. But anyway, 2008, we still didn't know anything about it. Weather was epic the first day. And so, I mean, when I say epic, it was literally 30 knots easy. They gave you the option you could fish the first day and choose to weigh one fish, two fish, or no fish. And so, yeah, my brother and I, my dad actually set that one out. He was smart enough. It was, when I say it was bad, it was bad. I
Yeah,
mean,
the first day
really,
was
really,
nasty in '08.
like, yeah, I mean, like stupid bad. We were running like 60, 80 miles. We were all going to the Exxon rig. That's where everybody wanted to go. So we go to the Exxon rig, which is over 60 miles easily. It's blowing well over 30 knots out of the north. We called a 32 pounder. Conditions were terrible. Fishing was terrible. It just didn't look any better the next day. My dad's on land. We're talking to him. Dad, when we come in, he's at the weigh in and we're talking, hey, Dad, should we weigh in? What do you think? Do we weigh? Do we not weigh? Do we weigh? Do we not weigh? And finally, we just kind of held. I was like, yeah, I think you should weigh. And so we came in and we weighed our 32 pounder. And it's a 2-fish ag, so that takes 1 fish off the board for us. But at that time, we were doing pretty good. So day 2 comes around. Weather really wasn't, it was better, but it was easily 20 knots or more. Seas are still whatever, 6, 8 foot. It's terrible. We ran behind the chandeliers. The first day we ran the ocean the whole way. For the second day, we decided to run behind the chandeliers. And when we came out of the chandeliers, we were going to go back to the Exxon rig. The angle, there was too much east in the wind, and it was too rough, way too big. There was no way that we were going to be able to get the probably 20, 25 miles, maybe further, back to the southeast, I guess, because there was too much east in it. So we literally, I remember put in neutral, looked on a chart, like, okay, there's the horseshoe rigs. Let's go to the horseshoe rigs. So that was further to the south. So we turned, heard of them before. Don't even remember why, if we fished there, whatever, no good reason, but we're just trying. So we go out and we get to the horseshoe rigs and we pull it back. We're just kind of bobbing around. I look off on the horizon. Like way off on the horizon. And I could see one boat. There was one boat all by itself, way out there. And you could almost look like somebody was on the bow. It was hard to tell, but it was, and we were in the middle of nowhere, really. No good reason why we were at the horseshoe rigs or nothing. And it wasn't like we were jonesing to throw baits out and fish. So we were like, well, let's go see what this guy's doing out here. Let's just check it out. So we eased probably a mile away, maybe. We eased out there, and sure enough, the guy was on the bow of a boat. It's just one boat. This is the only boat, one boat. Guy's out there on the bow of the boat. We get a little closer. It's the guy who won this tournament last year. So we're like, huh. So that is when it started. That was the Salt Dome. And I will say we were second boat on scene. We did not find it, but we would have been the second boat. And we put baits out, and it was just melee, all hell. Just insanity fishing. Went through all of our live baits. So we had caught, it was rough, like I said, rough. And we had caught a dozen or more big bluefish. They had some big bluefish down there. Like I'm talking, probably close to 24 inches. And it had been so rough that we might have they all basically died. They were all laying dead in the bottom of the well. We had some runners. So anyway, we fished all our runners. It's not like we were catching 50s and 60s like crazy. We were just, salt dome bite, which was 35 to, 50 pound fish, just one after the next. And we're in this bite. And so we caught, I guess all back to the first part. We already weighed one fish, so we're screwed. We can't win. We could have won. We would have won that year, that tournament. But we already weighed our first fish first day, so what are we going to do? We're out here in this incredible bite. We've caught a 50 pounder, but there's nothing else we can do. So we run out of bait. We start dipping in our well. We start picking up the dead bluefish, hooking them and trolling at like 5-6 knots and skipping them across the top and filming. And just the most insane bites of 40 plus pound fish, just absolutely just killing these dead baits skipping across the top. We just started doing stupid things. And then we had a flat of pogies that we had bought frozen, I think earlier in the week. We had them up front. So we're sitting there. We're like, well, what are we going to do now? So we're like, okay. So we start throwing pogies out the back. And king mackerel just starts swarming the boat, just eating these pogies, well before they're out of sight, just chewing them, eating them all out of the back of the boat. And so we're sitting there, and whatever, it's lunchtime. The Isla Capri, which is the Gold Nugget now, had fixed us lunch. And Barrett opened up his sandwich, and there's a pickle in it. And again, like I said, we were kind of YouTube before YouTube was cool, but we had the sense that it had some kind of little camera. And Barrett's like, I wonder if we can catch a fish on a pickle. And, again, we've been tossing the pogies over. And so, man, they're right. The kingfisher there. So let's see if we can catch one on a pickle. So he pulls out a 2-hook treble rig, hooks up his kosher pickle, and I'm filming. And he throws that thing overboard, and he's pulling line, and he might have got like 10 pulls and got the fish on. Fish ate the pickle, and that, I don't remember, 35 pound fish, but that is the Biloxi pickle. In fact, a king mackerel did eat a pickle on live camera, and it is still on the YouTube world somewhere.
It's on your YouTube page of OYFC TV.
Is it still there? Okay.
Yeah, it is. That's where I stole that screenshot. Fortunately, it's fuzzy, but yeah, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's pretty cool.
The quality wasn't quite there, but yeah. So the tragedy of it is we didn't win the tournament. We would have won the tournament without question, no doubt about it. But we had already weighed. But we got the Biloxi pickle out of it, and we won the next year, and then the 2 years after that, and then the 2 years after that, all at the same spot. So we did get some justice there.
Awesome. We got a question, Mark and Brant, from the Facebook chat. So
Okay.
Cody Brant got it up here. What's one piece of advice you would give a newer tournament fisherman?
Whew. Actually, I do know. Don't save your fishing for tournament day. There are way too many guys who do nothing but tournament fish. They show up on Friday night or whatever, Thursday. They get in their boat and they fish the tournament and, hope to compete. And then they go home and then they don't go fishing until the next tournament. You need to be on the water more. You need to be on the water when there's not tournaments, when you have the ability to experiment, when it's okay to mess up, when you can take chances. When you're fishing in competition, I see this in all fishing competition, bill fishing, mackerel fishing, you're not willing to break from habit or from what you have seen be successful when you're in competition. And that's, I guess, it's a risk. It's harder to take risks, to do different things when you're competing. Your mind, I don't know, my mind, I'm the same way. Your mind just won't let you. It's hard. And so, but when you go for fun, you can try these things. And another thing is to get yourself around big fish. I would say the turning point for my competitive fishing is when we first started going to the Northern Gulf, which would have been in the mid 2005-ish range or so. And the fish were big, 40 pounders were very, very common and bigger, but we were catching a lot of these fish. And so, by catching a lot of quality fish, you come back home here to the Carolinas, it's not a shock. Or going up to Hatteras, just go chase some of the big fish bites. You need to catch big fish. You need to be familiar with not only how they act and how they are, but it's mainly about you personally remaining calm. Your calm is very important. Very important. You get on board. I've gotten on board with people, and the reel goes off, and people just lose their minds. Running, just yelling, running in circles, just running the boat on plane, spinning around. And if you go fishing for fun and you get on a bite, you can be amazed at how easy it seems to catch big king mackerel. It just seems effortless, like you're not even trying, and you're catching all these big fish. But yet, when you get in a tournament, it's like, how come I can't catch these fish? Why is this so much harder? It's you. It's you. It's the way your mind is. It's how you're acting. It's how you're reacting. That is the difference there. So long story short, chase big bites, get around big fish, have experience with big fish so that when you are competing, it's not anything new to deal with them. How about that?
Outstanding.
That's deep right there. That's philosophical.
I don't know. That could have been answered any better.
Yeah, thank you. I impressed myself with that one. But anyway, what else? What else you got?
Mark, you're fading out again, buddy. So, man, you've been awful gracious with your time. Mark, you still there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, gotcha.
Any better? Sorry about this, guys. So I don't know what the deal is, but no, Brant, that's truly been enjoyable. And, I mean, there's so many other things. Love to have you back. We can talk about many other things too. I'm sure you got a lot of knowledge, a lot of information, a lot of history. And for people listening to it, like I say, in perpetuity, whether it goes on our YouTube and stays on Facebook or whatever it may be, people can go back and listen to that type of information and that type of advice, because I know that Cody, he's a young man, and I know he's got a young son, and I just met him at Fort Lauderdale boat shows. So I know that he's interested in that. So it's a great question. And people like that, like Cody, that are just getting involved and actually love the sport. And, it's great to hear those types of, that type of information, Brant. I mean, you've been around a long time and your family's been so successful, and means a lot to a lot of people. And, it's meant a lot to the sport.
I appreciate you having me on. And I will say my greatest achievement is my family, for sure.
There you go.
Very, very, very proud to have them fish with me and to have had the success that we have had fishing together. It means so much more to have success with your family. And so we look forward to continuing to compete as long as we can. And hopefully that'll be for many years to come.
There you go. And one of these days, Braden and Caroline are going to be like you are with Rube. We might go take Dad black bass fishing one day.
I expect. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Yes. That's probably sooner than later. But
understood. Well, Brant, awesome. Man, I can't thank you enough. I truly appreciate it. You've been you're a good friend. And
to folks watching or whatever, just check out our YouTube channel, OIFC TV, and that's all I would say. Maybe is check out some of our adventures. We do some pretty fun stuff and tell some good fish stories. So
yeah, some great videos on there. Great, you guys. Some sibling rivalry. You're talking about the family.
Oh yeah,
so,
their family is part of those as well. Absolutely.
Good stuff.
And if you're in southeastern North Carolina, make sure you go by the Ocean Isle Fishing Center and check them out. It's a great facility, sure. Kind of one-stop shop.
Yes, great social media content. Just a incredible family, incredible organization, incredible company, and thank you for all the tournaments that you run, Brant, and all the things that you do.
Well, we have tried hard. We may not always succeed at making everyone happy, but I can assure you that we are trying our best to have everyone best in mind. Anyway, the intent has always been there. Whether the result is sometimes different, but we try.
Understood. Awesome. There.
Well, thanks again, Brant. You have a great night.
Hey, thank you guys very much. Best wishes, and folks, we'll see everybody on the water here. Not in March. We will not see you on the water in March.
Understood.
We may see you a little in April, but we will definitely be seeing you in May on the water. That is go time.
Gotta
Looking
love it.
forward to it.
Gotta love it. Brant,
All
thank you again.
All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Brant.
Good night.
Good night.
And that
Well,
was
John,
that was great.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic, man. I mean, you got a gentleman there who, we could talk a long time about history, and there's so many things that, that Brant and his family have accomplished. I mean, there's hours upon hours and days upon days of those types of stories in history, and hopefully people enjoy that. I wanted to make sure that, I know a lot of people know of Brant and his family. I just want to make sure that, they just know the the dedication that the family has to each other, and the organization that he's created and they've created together. And I know he would want Amy to make sure that she knows that she's part of that, and all of it starting with the patriarch of the family, with Rube and Barrett and his family, and just a lot of great opportunities to learn from these folks. They've put a lot of energy and time and effort into it, and we fished their events a long time, and I've known them for a long time, and have a lot of respect for them. So, but anyway, man,
That's awesome.
2 episodes in, man. How about it?
Hey, we'll get it figured out. And for everybody watching, we'll, certainly give some feedback. We're looking to figure out how to try to improve this. Mr. Henderson will have a microphone for the next one. We'll get that taken care of.
Yep, I apologize for that, guys. I'm a pretty quiet place, but I don't know what to say. I'll get a mic.
Awesome. Well, Mark, I appreciate it, and everybody, thanks for watching. If you want to catch it again, it'll be on the Liquid Fire YouTube channel. Also going to post it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere else you can find your podcast. So the audio version will be there. So looking forward to, if you get a chance, go like those and subscribe, and we're going to try and grow this thing as big as we can, and continue to get great guests like Brant on. So
absolutely,
thanks again.
Man, that's fantastic.
Everybody have a great night and have a great weekend.
But everyone, thank you so much, John. Appreciate all your support and help. And if y'all get a chance, go check us out and Liquid Fire Fishing on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff, or X. Excuse me, Elon.
So, all right.
Anyway,
thanks,
all right,
Mark.
Dave. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a great evening.